Hello, all Form 2 students. In this video, we are going to learn how to form type 1 conditional sentences. Now, please take out your book and turn to page 30. Let's look at here. So we use type 1 conditional sentences to talk about possible results. How to form type 1 conditional sentences? In this type of sentence, look at here. We use the simple present in the if clause. So in the if clause, there are two parts in the sentence, and I will talk about it. We use simple present tense in the if clause, and for the main clause, we use simple future tense. It means that if X happens, if something happens, then something will probably happen. So for the if clause, let me repeat. For the if clause, we use simple present tense. And for the main clause, we use simple future tense. So here are two examples. Let's look at it together. The first example, if you uncross your arms, you will appear more relaxed. So in this sentence, there are two parts. This part, technical problem. So this part is the if clause. And this part is the main clause. For the if clause, we talk about the action. And for the main clause, we talk about the result. So when we form this type of conditional sentence, also pay attention to the tense. Just like I said, for the if clause, we use simple present tense. Like here, uncross is not in past tense, it's in simple present. And for the main clause, it is in future tense. Like here, you can see the word will, W-I-L-L here, indicating that it is in future tense. Look at another example here. If you wash with soap too often, is the action, something that you did or you will do, your skin will produce more and more oil. This is the result. You can see we use simple present tense in the if clause, and we use future tense in the main clause. And also pay attention that for the if clause, we can swap the position. We can put if clause at the beginning of the sentence, and we can also put it at the end of this sentence after the main clause, like here. First, we have the main clause. He will look taller. This is the main clause. And then we have the if clause. If he wears straight dark jeans, this is the action. We put the result first in the sentence, and then the action. Like this one. We will have lunch first. Here, this is the main clause. This is the result. So what is the action? What is the condition if the boutique is not open? All right? Result, action, future tense, present tense. Now, I have a PowerPoint for all of you. Let's take a look at the slides and have a more understanding of how to use type 1 conditional sentence. In this PowerPoint, first of all, We'll talk about how to form type 1 conditional sentences. Of course, we have just mentioned. And also, we also mentioned, just a recap, the order of the if clause and the main clause. And then we'll have some practice, of course. Now, let's begin. All right. So, we've learned that we use type 0 conditional sentences when we talk about things that are generally true. Do you still remember what type 0 conditional sentence is? You learned it when you were in your secondary 1, type 0. Like this one. If we ate a lot of fried food, we put on weight. Simple present tense, something which must happen. And we use for the things which must happen, or for the result which must happen, we use type 0 conditional sentence. Like here, present tense. If you eat fried foods, if you go to McDonald's very often, if you eat a lot of French fries, you put on weight. This is a must. Action, result. Then why this means if X happens, then Y generally happens. Okay? Must happen or generally happens. So what about type 1 conditional sentences? I just mentioned, like this one. If you get enough rest, your eyes will look brighter. This result is only possible, not a must, unlike the result in the type 1 conditional sentence. That is a must, but this one is not a must. Maybe if you get enough rest, your eyes will still not be that bright. Maybe, but one possible result is that your eyes will look brighter, will probably happen. This result will probably happen, not generally happen. So this is the difference between type 0 conditional sentence and type 1 conditional sentence. And also there are also difference in grammatical requirement. For type 1 conditional sentence, for the result, we use future tense, not present tense. So in this type of conditional sentence, we use simple present if in the if clause and simple future in the main clause. Here are some more examples. We talk about action in the if clause, like here. If you take care of your hair, this is the if action. This is the condition. If you take care of your hair, or if you uncross your arms. So what happens? What will generally happen? What will probably happen? So this is the result, a possible result. If you take care of your hair, one possible result is that it will stay thick and glossy. For the second example, for the condition, if you uncross your arms, what is the possible result? The possible result is that we will appear more relaxed. All right? So let's move on to another topic about the position of if clause. As I mentioned in the introduction of today's video, I told you we can put if clause before the main clause, right? But we can also, another way around, we can also put the if clause after the main clause. We can swap the position between, okay, we can swap the positions. We can put if clause at the beginning of the sentence, or we can put the if clause at the end of the sentence, as you like. There is no big difference in the meaning. However, one slight difference is that if you put if clause at the beginning and the first clause in a sentence, you have to add a comma, like here, at the end of the if clause, when we put it before the main clause. Now, let's have some exercises. We have to complete the conditional sentences here and use the verbs in bracket to help us. All right, let's look at the first one. Remember, for the if clause, we use simple present tense. And for the main clause, what do we use? We use future tense. If this is a type 1 conditional sentence, pay attention to the meaning as well. We don't know whether all of them are type 1 conditional sentences. Maybe some of them are type 0, we don't know. All right, let's look at the first one. If you are more about nutrition, you not choose unhealthy snacks. If you learn more about nutrition, you won't choose or you will not choose unhealthy snacks. All right, so this is a type 1 conditional sentence. This is the if the condition, if you learn more about nutrition, what is the meaning of nutrition? You remember? 營養學. Then what happened? A possible result is that you will not choose unhealthy snacks. But maybe not. If I know I'm not about nutrition as well, but I always eat unhealthy snacks. So this is only a possible result, not a must. So this is why we use type 1 conditional sentence. Second, if Jess, a girl, simple present tense, finish or finishes. Subject verb agreement, remember. Third person singular. We have to add es to the verb. It's possible that she will go for a run before dinner. Maybe she's too lazy. Maybe she says, oh, I'm so tired after finishing my homework. I prefer having a rest instead of going out for a run. So therefore, it's only a possible result, not a must. We use type 1 conditional sentence. So we say if Jess finishes her homework, she will go for a run before dinner. Number 3, if the clothes in this shop verb to be simple present are. Pay attention to the clothes here. It's a pronoun. So therefore we use are. Are too expensive? We will try. We will try the one around the corner. Okay. Now, 4, 5, 6. I give you 30 seconds. Please try to finish it now. 30 seconds. Time is up. Now let's check the answers together. Number 4, the gym will close before we get there if we don't hurry. Note that the if clause now is at the end of the sentence, not at the beginning. So the main clause comes first. We use future tense in the main clause and simple present tense in the if clause. Number 5, you will feel confident if you wear clothes that fit you well. Number 6, main clause, we will not go or we won't go hiking on Sunday if it rains. if it rains. Simple present tense. Rains. All right. I'll skip this slide. Okay. If you drink too much coffee, you will have trouble sleeping. You just link these two sentences together. Two parts together. If Joe stands up straight, you look taller. Okay, but we'll have a look at this one. We have to form type 1 conditional sentences using the information below. Talk about the result first. Result first. So result, possible result, feel fitter and happier. You exercise regularly. You remember what tense should we use for the result. Future tense for the action. Simple present. So here is if, you'll feel fitter and happier if you exercise regularly. Future tense first, and then present tense. This one, similarly, Ruby will have clearer skin if she washes her face before bed. All right. Now, let's put everything together. We have learned all the things that we need to know to form type 1 conditional sentence. Now we have to complete the tips for getting a good night's sleep with the correct form of the verbs in the box. Okay, now let's do this together. Tips for getting a good night's sleep. I will do the first 1, 2, 3, 4 with you, and you will do this one. You do this one. Okay, let's do it together. To be healthy and happy, you need plenty of rest. If you, which word should you use? If you, of course, around 8 hours we sleep. If you, simple tense, past tense, future tense, which tense should you use? Sleep, of course, present tense, because it's the condition. All right, and then for the main clause, we use future tense. You will look bright-eyed. Bright-eyed. I don't look bright-eyed, right? But if you sleep around 8 hours, you look bright-eyed and feel alert, like a dog. Oh. Feel alert the next day. But what if you just can't get to sleep? I can't go to sleep. Maybe some of you go to bed early, like 10 or 11, and they can't sleep, and playing their phone on the bed. So you might need these tips to help you. Here are a few tips that might help. The first one, you drink coffee. I just drank some coffee. The caffeine in coffee will keep you awake if you drink it in the evening. Also, this is another type 1 conditional sentence. This is the result will keep you awake, because someone will say, I drink a lot of coffee, and when I drink coffee, I fall asleep immediately. Coffee does not have any use to me. It's not a must, so it's only possible. It's not property. It's possibly. So here we say the caffeine in coffee will keep you awake if you drink it in the evening. Will. For the main clause, we use future tense, and for the if clause, we use present tense. All right. Now, please finish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blanks here. I'll give you 1 minute, and maybe you can pause the video. All right. I hope you really spend some time on finishing these questions, because if you wait for the answer, there's no point. You have to focus and do the exercise, and then you can learn something, even we do not have the lesson in our classroom. All right. So let's check the answers. For the first one, for the second tip, I would say, it is if you turn off your devices at least an hour before bedtime, you will find it easier to get to sleep. The third tip, sometimes we can't sleep because we are anxious. Slow classical music or nature sounds will help you relax. If you, which word should you use? Listen to, fall asleep, or feel? Of course. The answer is feel. If you feel worried about something, maybe you like a girl or you like a boy, and you always feel worried. I don't know why. Because you cannot see him or her in the school during this holiday. The last tip, listen to a podcast. For example, Sleep With Me. I don't know. Maybe you can try Google it or find it in YouTube. Sleep With Me, for example, has long, repetitive bedtime stories. You will fall asleep. You will fall asleep if you, of course, if you listen to them because they're designed to be boring. Listen to something boring and you can fall asleep. But if those bedtime stories are very interesting, maybe it's a failure. You can't sleep because you are paying attention to the story, to the plot of the story, and you try to understand the story and then you can't sleep because your brain is still functioning. So the bedtime stories are stories which are very boring. All right. So this is an example. So these slides explain how we use type and conditional sentence in the article that we just read. I'll skip it. All right. So in today's lesson, I hope you know how to use, after today's lesson, you know how to use type and conditional sentence to talk about possible results, and you still remember the difference between type 0 conditional sentence and type 1 conditional sentence. And also, you can form type 1 conditional sentence, form type 1 conditional sentences correctly, beginning with either the if clause or the when clause, because you know that you can swap the positions. All right. All right. If you still don't understand this topic, you still have something that you don't know, you're not so sure about how to use conditionals, please go to your grammar book, chapter 10. And this chapter is about type 0 and type 1 conditional sentence. So we'll do this exercise later, but not this week. All right, you can see, so we have an introduction here, and also, yes, introduction. All right, so this is your grammar book. If your grammar book is still in the school, don't worry, I will upload a PDF version of this chapter to e-class or Google Drive later, so that you don't have to go back to your school to get it. Because I know that many of you are still in the mainland China, and you are unable to come back to Hong Kong now. All right. So I hope you can learn something from today's video. You should have learned how to use type 1 conditional sentences, the grammatical requirement of type 1 conditional sentences, and also the difference between type 0 and type 1 conditional sentence. And you also know that you can swap the position between the main clause and the if clause for the conditional sentences. All right, so this is the end of today's video. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Goodbye.